Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you for coming in my presentation. It's great to deliver a material of presentation. Let me introduce myself. I'm Endah Rosdianah from 315B07 Foreign Language Academy of Bina Sarana Informatika University. Okay guys, in this video I will deliver presentation about language and communication in cross-cultural understanding. What is language and communication? Language is the way of human communicate that uses written or spoken, and communication is a process or act for conveying ideas and feeling information, all about expressing with symbols, sign, or behavior. In process of interaction, communication is one of things to convey a message. Brown others say communication is transfer of information from one person to another, whether or not it elicits confidence. But the information transferred must be understandable to the receiver. Language and culture develop together and influence each other as they evolve. A cultural anthropologist from US, Alfred L. Kroeber, said, culture started when speech was available, and from that beginning, the enrichment of either one or lead the other to develop further. Precisely, the finding of the research can be used as an understanding cultural differences is noteworthy. Culture is interesting in every region. Interaction and communication between people who have different culture give impacts of the relationship that occur. Cross-cultural was actually realized when a group of humans begin interacting with others. And different culture will produce different perspective and meaning of message in a process of interaction can be clearly shown in verbal and nonverbal communication patterns. Nonverbal communication is expressed through non-linguistic means, supporting speech like can simply repeat what we say orally, conveying emotion because emotion of expression are more important than vocal expression in terms of their contribution to the total message, and vocal expression contribute more than word. And immediacy behavior, moving close to another, facing him or her, and eye contact are immediacy behavior, which means that positive communication is possible. What are types of nonverbal communication? Facial expression, eye contact, gesture, and body orientation is types of nonverbal communication. Facial expression example. In China, smile can cause feel embarrassed after making mistake, but it makes Western thinking Chinese in smile cause feel humiliated. Eye contact, in order to show modesty and respect, but in different culture can lead in miscommunication. Gesture and body orientation. The OK when with the index finger and over the thumb and the remaining finger extend above them, which means everything is good. But in Australia it means zero or nothing. Verbal communication is speech or sound and word to express something you to do or don't want to do. There are 4 types of verbal communication: intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, small group communication, public communication. If in nonverbal there are eye contact, gesture, and facial expression. In verbal perfect greetings, voice volume and tune, health literacy, interpretation, and translation. The different culture can affect language to communicate. Speak the same language, but they may not speak in the same way. For example, Indian and Indonesian both speak English, but can have different result and meaning because culture clash. Indonesian usually speak with a low pitch and only raise their voices in anger, but Portuguese speak in higher pitches and volumes during normal conversation. Language is a component key of culture. The relationship between culture and language is when you interact with another language. It means that you are also interacting with the culture that speaks the language. We cannot understand one's culture without accessing the language directly. Learning a second language as other than mother tongue uses for public communication is being trained, higher education and administration. A language officially recognized and adopted in a multilingual country as a means of public communication. Communication between culture. Communication is a tool of communicate the culture in a group of society. Also, communication allows gathering information about personal and cultural identity. Without communication, we cannot identify someone identity like where she or he from. Communication giving many experience if we talk with different culture, as it produces a feeling enjoy, warmth, surprise, and friendship. Edward T. Hall in 1970 said, "The culture is a very complex thing, like an iceberg that is not proportional in size. It only looks 10%, the remaining 90% is below the surface." The meaning is culture if you only small portion about 10%. The remaining 90% is visible if we want to understand more. Iceberg model have provided a great way to blend the breadth and complexity of human culture. The description of 10% of the cultural iceberg is the first time you interact with different culture. What visible part is what you seen, felt, heard, and touched, such as food, music, visual art, language celebration, and games. 90% iceberg is divided into two descriptions. 1. Unspoken rules like how interact, show emotion, concept of personal space, definition of beauty and manner. 2. The core under the water line of the cultural iceberg is important component like ideas about concept of self, role of life, family, society. A culture core values includes understanding wrong and right, good and bad. For this material is understanding culture allows humans to give the right meaning to each word because we are able to think as foreign language. Understanding different culture make find new ways to express the thing. Culture is strong part of human lives. It affects to their values, their humor, hopes, loyalties, worries, and fears. So, understanding culture from language and communication can help build a relationship and make some perspective. For organization or community with communication, there is much to do. We will talk about how to aware with culture, build multicultural organization, and much more cultural topic as well.